Horror comes in many forms. It could be the slightly open door that leads into a dark room. It could be the way your clothes hang in the dark. It could be as simple as this. Analog horror. But why is it scary? Why does it spook us? And why can't we stop watching this genre of horror? Well, let's talk about it. First of all, yes, I am in a onesie, get over it. And secondly, the horror that is used in analog horror films are unique in that it uses nostalgia to reel us in. And with nostalgia comes its aesthetic that helps with the uncomfortability of these films. Wow, I sound so fucking smart right now. Okay, maybe not anymore. You see, these films often replicate what films would have looked like between 1960s and the early 2000s. So think VHS tapes. This aesthetic, of course, requires mimicking the same quality these older video cameras would have had. All of us today are so used to 1080p or higher. It's to a point that just 720p makes all of us shit ourselves out of anger, because it just looks weird. And with that anger or frustration comes discomfort. And that's just 720p. So if I were to lower the resolution right now to 360p, then you'd still be able to make me out, but now your brain feels like something is wrong. Your eyes do not like this quality whatsoever, and now it's telling your brain, yo, hey, I don't like this, man. I don't like this, chief. And it feels like your brain is trying to process what you're looking at. I am going to turn it back to 1080p though. That's better. That's so much better. I know that's gonna bother me later, so I know it bothered a lot of you probably. This quality allows filmmakers to make things look really creepy as shit, especially with darker scenes. It's just easier to hide things in the dark with this genre, because now not only does your brain have to kind of process why it feels uncomfortable with this resolution, but now it also has to deal with the dark. And now it has to fill in the missing parts of whatever is standing in the dark. Your imagination is going to run wild. Now mix all of that in with some static and some sound effects of just the VHS tape running, and okay, but what does any of this have to do with nostalgia? And my answer to that is fucking relax, dude. Relax. I'm gonna answer it now. Damn. I love you. Well, again, nostalgia comes from its aesthetic of older home videos or regular videos or movies or shows or whatever the hell was on TV at the time. And the only people who really experience that time are people in their 20s or older. So for us old people, when we watch these short films, it hits a spot from our childhood that isn't exactly pleasant. Because nostalgia is usually a very positive thing for all of us. So, and here's my theory, when we see this creepy thing in a style that reminds us of our childhood, it feels like we remember this place and time when in reality it never happened. And the fact that our brain can't really remember where this feeling of familiarity is coming from, it just makes us go, ruh-roh, you know? Like the Scooby-Doo guy. Just a theory though, a brain theory. All right, sorry, that was, do I look good in this onesie? I feel like it makes me look fat, you know? Yo, when's it gonna be my turn? You don't get a turn. What do you mean? We're a team. No, we're not. You're just a pain in my elbow. What the hell was that? I was putting you in your place. That was putting me in my place? Yes, look at you, trembling with fear. I am not trembling. You are just so amazed by the power that radiates off of me. You have no power. You are just overwhelmed by the beauty and grace that is my presence. That onesie makes you look fat. Oh, what? Oh, man. Anyway. Oh. Where were we? All right, nostalgia. So the aesthetic makes people our age and older nostalgic. But what about people who are younger than 22, 23? Now, this is going to sound crazy to people my age and older, but the reality is there are a lot of people now who didn't grow up with this stuff, which is wild for me to think about because I remember watching movies on VHS and having a TV with Fatty and the color wired things and the introduction of HD in homes and the introduction of touchscreen phones and streaming and YouTube. And the point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of people who watch analog horror that simply don't feel the nostalgia factor because they simply didn't grow up with it. So how does this aesthetic work for them? Well, it sort of becomes uncanny. Uncanny is something that is strange or mysterious, especially in an unsettling way. In other words, weird things make you go, ugh. In a weird way, it's the lack of nostalgia that makes these people uncomfortable. It'd be like watching something out of time. To the 20-plus-year-olds out there, remember how creepy Slenderman was in this picture? Well, of course it was creepy because it was some tall, uncanny thing stalking children, but it was also creepy because it was in black and white. Black and white photography started to become obsolete somewhere in the 1980s, and by the early 2000s, color photography was the norm. So when we look at this photo that's in black and white, we kind of go, oh, that's weird. And the uncanny feeling comes from the fact that this could be a real photo, but we wouldn't know because it's an old photo. Not only that, but it's kind of a storytelling device, kind of implying that Slender Man has been around for a long time. But that's a whole other thing. It's just really cool how much nostalgia plays into analog horror. Anyway, let's move on to the next chapter. The goal of these stories is usually to make us, the viewers, a character in it. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's look at Local 58, one of the most popular analog horrors out there. The tapes are played during a broadcast of a local news station. These videos are made to make it seem like it could be playing from a TV in your living room or your bedroom, etc. But then while you, the viewer, is watching the news, an emergency broadcast pops up, essentially from the government telling you to commit suicide. And not just a general sense of committing suicide, but in a very specific way. Now, obviously you're not going to do what the video is telling you to do, but it quite effectively puts you in the shoes of these characters watching these tapes or this emergency broadcast, therefore effectively making you a character in the story. You see where I went with that? So, like the people in the story, you're confused as to what just happened. Why did the government just tell us to commit suicide? What the hell is going on here, dude? Why does weird shit like this always happen on election? But unlike the people living in this world, we get to have the privilege of watching tapes from other people, allowing us to make educated guesses as to what's actually going on. Or in other words, what the overall story is. Nah, I'm gonna head out for a bit. I'll see. Yeah, no, that was, Okay, now that the bitch is gone, why do we even need to figure out what the story is anyway? Why can't they just give it to us like a normal story? Well, that's the part of the fun. As I just stated, analog horror provides just enough details to provide the answers to our questions. But it's done in such a way that is very vague. These fan bases have to literally team up together to create theories on what the story could be about. And this results in multiple theories being formed, which makes it so that each individual person has to decide which theory is the most likely answer. The messed up part about this is that even if there is a theory that is dead on, we won't really know unless the creator of said analog horror comes out and confirms it. Keeping with the mystery theme, another important aspect of these films is the threat that lingers in the background. The antagonist almost never reveals themselves, but rather contacts the people through other means such as the tapes that we are watching. Let's look at the Batman analog horror by Stiltrix. In this world, Batman or Bruce Wayne suffers a psychotic break of sorts after his parents got murked. He separates himself from the world until one day he becomes Batman and kills those who he deems punishable. And he also kidnaps children to turn into his soldiers. Every single thing surrounding the Batman is shrouded in mystery, and instead of comforting the citizens of Gotham and making the criminals fear him, everyone in Gotham fears him. Why is he taking children when he is thought to only hunt criminals? And why does he look like this? Is he even a man anymore? Am I next? I've talked about how the lack of sound could be effective in a horror movie in this video over here. But for this, I want to focus on the usage of sound, because analog horror uses it in a very specific way. Oh my god. Oh my, it's pizza time. In analog horror, the one thing you're going to hear more than anything else is silence. All you can hear is the sound of the VHS tape rolling as you wait for the next thing to happen, but it never comes. But then, an image appears, and the music suddenly starts to fade in. And then, back to silence. Creepy, right? Most of these short films use sound in this format, and for good reason. It's effective. And one of my favorite things about the usage of sound in these short films is that they're usually diegetic, meaning every sound that you hear watching these tapes are the exact sounds that people who are watching these tapes in the world would hear. One of my favorite examples of this is yet again in the Batman analog horror series, specifically in the episode titled Missing People's Broadcast 1962. The video starts off with a clip from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. It is then interrupted by an emergency broadcast to specific parts of Gotham. And it's to tell people to be on high alert of the Batman as he is going around kidnapping people. And then they play a video of all the people that are missing. It just gives you an idea of how the people living in this world are just everyday people like you and me, watching TV, watching movies, doing their thing. And then they get hit with this sound. And then the fucking news is telling them to watch out for a guy dressed as a bat because he's fucking kidnapping people? Yo, that's scary as hell. Speaking of scary things, take it away, ugly. I'm not ugly. I hate that guy, dude. I hate that. I'd kill him if I could. I mean, I guess I technically could. I want to take a look at two different analog horror series. Two different shows. The first being the very famous Walton Files, specifically the company introductory tape. We start to watch an introductory tape that's meant for new employees or facility caretakers. In this tape, we'll meet some of the characters and we'll learn more about the company, Bond's Burgers. During this tape though, something really cool happens with the audio that really immerses you into this world. Other than the background noise, the voiceover and the music really help sell that this could be actual old footage. The music sounds like it's being played on an old record player, and the voiceover sounds kind of muffled, almost like it's using a microphone from an old era where it could have been top of the line. Almost like you're listening to an old radio show.
Boozoo and Banny, a computer-animated band made by BSI to entertain children. As a technician, you'll be given the role of a facility caretaker.
The other analog series I want to focus on is, yes, Local 58 again, all right? It's my video, all right? I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. Screw you guys. But keep watching though. Local 58, specifically Skywatching, has a scene towards the end where the moon comes out in all of its glory as a man stares at it and then starts to praise it. Now, from what we think the story might be about, the moon is somehow mind controlling everybody in the world and seems to be of alien origin. And this scene sort of confirms that theory, but it's the last part that has really stuck with me and is the reason why I made this video. From somewhere else in this area where this man seems to be, you can hear what sounds like people screaming for their lives. And during what sounds like chaos, all we see is this guy being hypnotized by this moon. And the only thing we can really do is imagine the chaos, the destruction that is happening, the confusion. And the crazy part about it is that it only lasts for maybe a second, two max, before an alarm starts to drown out the noise. It's just one of the most unnerving scenes I have ever seen. That's right, I repeated the joke from another video. I'm pretty sure it's actually the horror video. I don't care, I'm a rapper, dude. Rappers reuse their lines all the time. Why can't I reuse a joke? I'll get more creative, my bad, I'm sorry. Now, before I let you all go and, be free from my presence, I just want to end the video on this. I love films. And if you've been watching for a while, you know this channel started on short films. But not everybody who wants to make a film has the means to make one. But this genre has made it possible for filmmakers to tell the stories that they want to tell, quite often with little to no problems. It is literally the most accessible genre of filmmaking. So if we want to make a film in this genre, make it. Not only does it give us more content in this genre, but it allows you to release your creativity into the world. So just do it! Do it! Do it. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot to me that you gave me your time. Please subscribe, it helps me out a lot, and hit that notification bell for when I upload a video. It takes a while for me to upload these videos. I am so sorry. And also check out my other channels as well. And
I don't know what's happening. I was just recording and the power turned off. And then there was a really bright light. And then it just went off. And then I heard a really, really weird noise. And then I heard something bust through the front door. And I think something is in